This morning, 93 people dead and more than 750 homes lost in the nation's worst bushfire disaster.
We've got nothing. It's all gone.
The Prime Minister calls on all Australians to help Victoria's fire victims.
Our thoughts and our prayers go out to each and every one of them as they now try and deal with this tragedy and recover.
And authorities hunt down those responsible for causing so much misery.
This is 7 Early News with Natalie Barr.
Good morning. The number of people killed in the nation's worst natural disaster has risen dramatically overnight. Victoria's devastating bushfires have claimed nearly 100 lives and wiped out entire suburbs. Conditions have eased slightly this morning as a cool change sweeps across the state, but at least 10 fires are still burning out of control.
More than 36 hours battling the worst bushfires in the country's history, exhausted crews were blessed with a welcome cool change last night, but it was no time to rest.
We've got major fires. There's 10 major fires in Victoria. We haven't tracked them. Those fires will take 3 or 4 days to get under control.
Across the state, once leafy suburban hamlets have been reduced to a smouldering wasteland.
We've got nothing. It's all gone.
Where nothing remains but scorched earth, twisted tin and ash.
It was so ferocious, and I can understand how people got caught, and I can understand why so much has gone.
Those killed were trapped in their homes or incinerated in their cars as they tried to outrun the flames.
Some people that we know, I think they've lost 2 of their young kids, so that's even worse.
More than 750 homes were destroyed by the inferno.
And you've lost everything? Everything we own.
This couple took refuge in their cellar as the flames roared overhead.
See, as the house was burning, that the lid of the cellar, which was metal, was just glowing red in the corner, and I didn't know whether we were going to make it or not.
Almost nothing remains of the township of Marysville in the Yarra Valley.
It'll never be what it was. You can't replace old buildings and 100-year-old trees.
Kinglake was the hardest hit. Entire streets no longer exist. 21 residents perished, including veteran television newsreader Brian Naylor and his wife Maureen. The sheer scale of the disaster has grabbed headlines around the world.
Good afternoon. The worst bushfires in Australian history have now claimed the lives of at least 84 people.
Firefighters in southeastern Australia battling massive wildfires this morning.
British Prime Minister Gordon Brown called Mr Rudd offering help. The federal government has announced a $10 million assistance package and national appeal. Eligible adults will receive $1,000 and each affected child $400. Those who lost loved ones will receive $5,000 to help with funeral expenses.
Our thoughts and our prayers go out to each and every one of them as they now try and deal with this tragedy and recover from the damage which has occurred.
The hunt is on in earnest for those responsible.
We've been suspicious about this fire all along. Fire experts have given us advice that this fire, they believe, was lit.
Kim Avosabak, 7 News.
And joining me now from one of the worst affected areas is Whittlesea Mayor Mary Lelios. Good morning, Councillor. Tell us how much of the Whittlesea Council area has been devastated by the fires.
Good morning. Firstly, what I'd like to say is our thoughts, our prayers and our hearts go to everyone who have been affected by these devastating fires. A great proportion of our Whittlesea area has been affected.
And how on earth are people dealing with that this morning, Councillor?
This morning I've been over to our relief centre and there are people sleeping there. We've got assistance there for anyone else who may need it. Throughout the day, yesterday, people were coming through. They were traumatised, there were anxious times. There were a couple of busloads that came through and there's some tearful reunions which were fantastic, but there are obviously some anxious times ahead with people who are unaccounted for.
Yes, certainly. Now, how does it make you feel knowing that some of these fires were probably deliberately lit?
It's beyond belief that anyone could actually start a fire. It's beyond belief. There are just no words for anything like that anyone could deliberately start a fire, just beyond belief.
Yeah. Now, what should people do, the ones who've lost their homes, the ones who've lost loved ones?
We've got our relief centre which is operating. It's been operating throughout the night and will operate until it's needed. They're most welcome to come down to our Whittlesea Relief Centre at our Community Activity Centre, and we're able to offer assistance, whatever assistance is needed. We've got counselling there, we've got all sorts of foods and necessities that are needed in an emergency like this.
Okay, Mary Lelios, our hearts go out to you and the people around you. Thanks very much for making the time this morning.
Thank you. Our hearts go to everyone as well. Thank you.
And if you are concerned about family and friends caught up in the bushfire emergency, call the Red Cross on 1800 727 077. That number again, 1800 727 077. And for anyone wishing to donate to families devastated by the Victorian bushfires, donations can be made at any National Australia Bank branch. The Bendigo Bank has also set up an appeal. Donations can be made online or at any branch.